All right, hello, Tiger fans. Welcome back to another episode of Hoopers and Football. We've got Michael from BFTigerCast in and Tim. And will be another episode actually about drafts, as we did the last one with the Super Draft review. We'll go into players who we want to draft this year. How are you boys going this week?
Good. Going well. How about you, mate? You going good?
Yeah.
Oh, living the dream.
Living the dream. That's it.
Mate, that's my go-to saying from when I was in the military. When you always got asked how you going, you always just said living the dream. Whether you were or you weren't, you just said it.
That's it. You just keep rolling with it.
Right.
Well, it's our
exactly.
Time to shine now. Draft time.
Yeah, it's a challenging one this year because you're like, as much as everyone's always told me this year's draft wasn't that deep compared to last year, and I think obviously last year, to my opinion, is an anomaly, considering I classified as a super draft. Then all of a sudden it gets closer to the draft, and now there's about 15 players' names come up. You're like, these players are all really good. So to me, I think it's just one of those really top-heavy drafts. Maybe not as deep as it was last year, but it'll be good to see this year who we go for and what the club decides they want to build upon for the rest of the next premiership team. Because there's a good chance there's a few of them coming out of this draft.
The narrative has turned a bit, hasn't it? Like it's always been about compromise and not very good. But then the more we all start looking at videos, like, oh shit, maybe there is a couple of diamonds in the rough worth getting, which is good.
Yeah,
especially the last 48 hours, as per my late edition.
That's yours. That's you. That's everybody. That's just you. All right, so we'll start off with Micheals because Tim has given me a very long list of players that he thinks that Richmond should go after. Micheals is a little bit shorter. So we'll start with Michael's list. So we'll let you start off with who you would think out of these ones you would pick first, or why you think that you reckon Richmond should go after him.
Yeah, for so long, I actually tweeted about this today, that for so long I was really all in on Josh Lindsay being the one we should go for with one of our first picks. One of the best kicks in the draft. My only concern, not really a concern, but not very often do you pick a halfback that high of a pick, but he was the best skilled, and I just felt he suited a need. But then in the last, I reckon, 48 hours, Sam Cumming has really started to appeal. And it's on the back of, I saw your suggestion, and I watched a few videos today, especially his second senior game this year. And he looked really good in there, like finds the ball really well. I thought his pace looked okay. And I thought maybe he's the one that could be worth using pick 3 or 4 on. I'm assuming that West Coast get pick 2, but it's going to be interesting to see where Lindsay goes, because I don't know whether West Coast be game enough to pick him in the top 2. So I feel like it could fall to us, but I don't think he'd go low enough if we were to split a pick and try and get him. So he's a real tricky one, but his form's kind of tapered a little bit over the last few games as well. But and that's why I was kind of maybe searching for other areas. Grill, we know we've all seen Grill play some VFL for us. I actually thought he looked better in the VFL for us than he did even in the Champs games. So I don't know whether he just had some off days in the Champs, but his work at VFL level was good. And to hear Jake Batchelor have glowing reports of him as well was really nice. It just showed that he fit in well. Seems like a really good kid, has got pace. Again, the only question mark is, will it be a reach at that high of a pick? He's one that I think maybe could still be there if we split our pick 4. But again, it's still a risk. William Dersma, look, I don't think he'll get past West Coast, to be honest. I think they'll take him with 1 or 2. If he does slip past, then I think we would have to take him. I'm not scared of the surname. I know some people are, but the kid can play. I was actually listening back to some chats I had with Cam Hicks earlier, like in February this year, and even he said the athletic profile of Dersma is something to be excited about. Whilst maybe a little bit raw in some areas of the game, he can play in multiple positions, and the fact they've not landed on a specific spot for him yet probably means he's still got a lot of growth and development that can be a positive as well. Duff Tytler, he's really tearing me, because early days, a lot of people, well, is he? I don't know. Is he though? I mean, his Champs didn't impress me, if I'm being totally honest, but his last game.
You use, was it Footy and Stuff? Did you see the highlight that came out from today?
I did. I didn't see, but I read comments that it was pretty
I watched
impressive.
it, and I think it was 18 disposals and 2 goals.
Yeah.
As well as Grill had a video come out today as well, which
Did
was I think he was back to his form with this speed.
Yeah.
I think he had 18 disposals, and then he went down with an ankle injury, and that was at 3/4 time.
Oh,
Both
okay.
of them put on a game. I think it was whether it's on the I think it was on the weekend, but they both Kubiduff, Tyler, and Grill had a really good game on the weekend as well. So it kind of I think the Kubiduff Tyler game probably jumped him back up again, higher up in the draft again.
It is such an interesting one. I've got no doubt or little doubt. I think he'll become a good player. My only question mark is will he be suited to us? Because I don't buy into getting him as a ruck. I don't think works for us because reality is most of these rucks will take 3 or 4 years before they can do number one ruck. Now there has been some exceptions to that. Someone like a Josh Fraser was drafted straight away in ruck. Nick Nat-Nui. So there's a small handful that made it straight away, but that's not normally how it happens. And maybe Duff Tyler is one that can do that. But if you were to draft him and then we're having him play as a key forward, well, we just drafted 3 key forwards and we've got Liam Fawcett as well in the background too. So I just don't see how he fits in if he's not get a number one ruck straight away, which I can't see happening. That's where I'm kind of stuck with him. But yeah, it's getting Sims, Armstrong, Fall, I think negated the need to get Duff Tyler. And interestingly, watching the club's podcast today with Ry Geishan, they did say when talking about Sims that they did draft him as a forward ruck, but they are very open and to the idea of him being the actual ruckman, which I thought was really, really interesting. And it's something that's probably the path I thought we were going to go down and get another experienced ruck somewhere down the track to maybe partner him. But I think I have said as well that seeing Duff Tyler and Sims ruck forward combo would be interesting. I just don't know how it would fit in the short term. Like if you could get the Duff Tyler of 4 years' time in straight away, you'd do it. But yeah, I just don't know how it fits for the now is my only question.
The other interesting thing is that they could change the how their deliberatives work to last touch.
Out of bounds rule?
Yeah. They could change that to last touch. That. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be a bit like
Sam. I think then it negates the dominant giant ruckman.
Yep. It's once that changes, then I think clubs will start looking at more mobile ruckmen. So more like you Luke Jackson types, but even then, it's a bit.
There's still a big body difference. Like even at the centre bounce, can you imagine him going up against Jared Witts or Max Gawn? He's going to get smashed. Tristan Sherry.
Yeah.
And we already struggle in the middle as it is trying to get the ball out of there, let alone if we're not getting a hands to it. Like I said, I think he'll be a good player. I just think the stars haven't quite aligned to do it for us. But I think if he's still on the board,
could Richmond do the Geelong sort of project with them? Like how when Geelong drafts a player, they don't really let them play AFL for the first 2 to 3 years, and they allow them to play in the VFL to build their body and grow into their body. Could Richmond do that with the fact of Nate Curvis and Sims are still there, and then take what's a risk on him, obviously, to be that 3 or 4 years down from now where we might start to see the actual product, what he's meant to be. Because Geelong does that really well with their players. They put them in the VFL, stay there for 2 years, and then when they come in, they're actually ready to go. They've had that 2 preseasons under them. Their bodies don't get tired as quick. Obviously, we're not at that stage of where Geelong is, where Geelong can afford to do that, but it could be a path we could take.
We could. I mean, you could. The risk, I guess, then becomes, does Duff Tyler then get shitty if he's not playing senior football and thinks he needs opportunity elsewhere? I don't know. But yeah, it's a really, really tricky one. And like to James Racing's point, that if Duff Tyler is still there at one of our picks, I think there'll be some other clubs climbing over each other to try and trade in to get that pick. And that's where I guess it becomes a live chance to split picks. Essendon, I know they got the ones after us, but maybe we're trying to bluff them into thinking we're going to take him and we can try and pillage him a little bit, get a future pick to death ride them next year in some capacity. I'm not sure who else might trade up. I'm not sure whether Gold Coast would for him in particular.
North.
I think
North.
Can we
North
another death ride on North? Bring it on.
No,
but yeah, that's where I think the value could be, is the potential trades that might come for other clubs who are desperate for him. I just don't think we need to be as desperate as they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were
Then you
the
got
first few,
Sam
and there was Sam Cumming. He was one who popped up. Like he's always been on the radar, but I think I've really started to take more notice of him in very recent times. He just seems to be a bit more consistent. I think his output's a lot more consistent than a Josh Lindsay, which is an appeal factor. Plays midfield. He's played against men. Kicked 3 goals in his second senior game of football with some. I know there was a bit of a breeze, but some raking long bombs. Was taking strong marks. Like I guess the fact he wasn't shy or afraid of the physicality playing amongst men is a real standout feature, and kind of gives you comfort that he could slip in and play a role almost straight away next year. I just don't know if it's a reach that high. I think he fits the need and could be a slightly different midfielder to what we have, though.
Well,
and that's where
today,
I guess, yeah.
Well, you were saying with the reach, but like Cal Toomey has him ranked 12th, but then there's other ones we've got him pushing top 8. So like it really does vary. And then if you think about it, the top 5 from Cal Toomey are 2 Gold Coast Academy players and a Brisbane Academy player as well.
Okay.
So if you really take that out, he does push into the standard, technically top 10.
Yeah, so in the open draft. Okay.
In the open draft, he'd be top 6 or 7.
And that's where it's like, if we can split with Gold Coast, you could maybe get Lindsay, Grill, and Cumming, potentially. Or any combination of those 3, and you walk away pretty happy with yourself, I reckon.
I think he's another, in my opinion, he's another Sam Lawler, but not as... don't argue where he has like Dustin Martin's that natural strength to fend off players and break contests. He's that player that gets on the open run with his penetrating kick and his ability to overhead mark. He's probably like a Harvey Langford, really, if you would to take him as a. I know he's been rated as a Isaac Heaney. Is that's what they rate him as, similar to Isaac Heaney, which is a highly ranked or potential.
Yeah.
I see him it's very hard to turn him down. That's what I'm starting. I was Lindsay for days, but
I'm the same. But it's good that names are popping up. The other one for me that's popped up that I didn't actually mention to you was Jacob Farrow from WA. Now I know there's the go home factor that people can get a little bit scared about, which I understand, but he's averaged like high 20s disposals for most weeks. I'm doing some highlights of him currently, and another really nice midfielder. My only question or knock on him was from the bits I've seen, I don't see him as being a big two-way runner. Maybe it's just there's one particular game that he's not doing it. But I do think that whatever midfielder we take has to have two-way running as almost the number one attribute, because we clearly don't have enough of it at the moment. So that would be my only question mark. But I would like to see more footage of him before I sort of categorically made that call on him.
Yeah. Well, as Tim has happened to have, he has him on his list, so he will probably be able to give us some more information.
I've got a few. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll go to Michael's next page, which is his recent today decided to add on to me. Can we do it? And I did. I found a way to get him in there.
This was a last minute addition. Sullivan Roby. Now,
good.
I would hazard a guess.
I wanted to ask the question. He's a tall forward, so
no. So this is where it's interesting. It's I would hazard a guess that prior to yesterday or the day before, that no one's heard about this person, would be my guess, unless you're real draft nuffy, because it seems like that the claims have been that they've hidden him, which I don't think is correct, but he's been playing in the back line quite a bit, I believe, for Eastern, and then he played on the weekend in the midfield, and he had like 40 touches, 5 tackles, like absolutely shit on everybody.
Jesus.
And he's a big boy, so he was busting through packs, but not Josh Smiley big. Like, he was still very athletic and mobile and working hard both ways. He had a couple of kicks that were smothered, but this guy I think he's gonna come up into calculations he's making clubs think. Now, I don't think you would go with one of your early picks, but this is one of those ones that you maybe take a gamble on if you split your pick and it ends up being somewhere in the 10 to 15 range. Do you have a look at a player like that? The other one would be like a Hibbins Hargrave that could fall into that area as well, which you might have, Tim, on your list.
Definitely do.
But I was enthralled watching this kid's highlights. I encourage anyone who is a fan of Footy Stuff's YouTube page, go to it and watch these highlights from Sullivan Roby. Very, very interesting prospect. It's almost a shame there's no more games left. Well, not a lot of games left, because We've seen one game of him in the midfield. He had 40 touches, like crazy. So, yeah, keep an eye on him, I reckon.
Ridiculous.
Have you got anything on that, Tim? Because I don't have him on your list.
It's all right. Very different player. I just quickly looked up his stats. I think 40 disposals, 9 marks, 7 inside 50s.
It was a big game.
Jesus. That's a big game.
So apparently the backstory to this is, so the reason why some people haven't, or a lot of people haven't heard about him, including me until yesterday. So I think he was at the Stingrays initially and then got cut and then got picked up by Eastern. So it's almost like he's been a late developer and it's just gone boom out of nowhere, which is really, really fascinating. So it does. So I guess the question mark is, why was he played in the back line the whole time? I guess maybe because of his height potentially. But he was moving across the ground really well, like running from contest to contest really well, a lot of repeated efforts. He actually looks a really good player. So I'm actually really keen to see, number one, if he gets an invite to the combine, and two, where he goes. And it could be a Bolter Jones Racing. It could be. Yeah. I'll be on record as claiming it.
Where do you think he'll go? As a guess, obviously, because I haven't seen much of him. Do you think he'll be a second round pick, or do you think he'll slide up as a Bolter, or you're going to be a bargain when someone will get him in that?
I reckon prior to yesterday, he would have been in like the second round. After what he's just shown in the midfield, I wouldn't be shocked if it's an end first round in an open draft. Obviously, the picks are going to be pushed way out, but it could be someone that a team takes a gamble on. Maybe if they got multiple picks, we sometimes fit the bill.
I would strongly disagree with that.
Which one?
Like how how he was like a second rounder. I reckon he was almost like a fourth to a rookie, and now
really even that far.
Oh wow!
Like, look, I've literally got his stats in front of me. This is the only standout game, and the fact that it's coming the wild card too. Do
you reckon a club's asked them to hide him? Does that happen? Do we think
that has happened before?
Oh yeah,
yeah, but it has happened.
No, it definitely does happen. Think of how many players we've watched get drafted, and you go, "How are these guys made it that far?" And you go, "Well, you look at him, and they go, oh, well, they just didn't do much there. Like, what did with? There had to be of some sort of keep him in the back line, because we know he's under 16s. He was a superstar. We can see where he's going to go, or play him in the back line so he doesn't get hurt. Like, I swear they'd have to do that.
Yeah, they would.
Like, well, look at Ben Miller, Noah Bolter. They are players that were. I feel like they were hidden really well in WA, and I feel like WA clubs were trying to get them, and they just get, oh, well, didn't work out well. Richmond just were lucky to have a pick in front of them and got a couple of these players that work out well. So they go. Max Holmes could be one as well.
They tend to hide him at 16, to be honest.
Yeah, they get.
No, they do get his brother.
Heard a little bit.
Well, the question was asking here, has anybody got any information on Max Holmes' younger brother? But I haven't heard much about his younger brother. I've heard that he's in this year's draft. He could be another hidden one as well.
He's not exactly
snatch him up and he's
he's probably
he's last.
Second rounder.
Okay, there you go.
And he's quicker than Max.
Well, in free agents, is he? Oh shit, Max is quick as well. So that's maybe Richmond should draft him.
I swear Max had about 10 bounces against us. Well, I'm having a look through the list.
Everybody.
There's not a lot happening in the way of unrestricted free agents for this year. I mean, I know people had floated Brody Mycheck a little while ago, but I think that's now knocked on the head that we've signed Lynch. Otherwise, I really do think they could have been a live option. The only other name that appeals to me, but it's purely because he smashed it for me in Supercoach, was George Hill, but we really don't need him. Other than that, I think it's more next year. I don't know whether there's many of the unrestricted players that we would go for this year. I mean, Brodie Smith, but he's probably not playing too much at Adelaide. He's been sub a couple of times, but we've probably got that area covered, especially with youngsters developing. Sam Draper, we've obviously been pretty well advertised that he's no longer going to be at the Bombers. But again, I don't know whether we'd be able to partner him and Nankervis. And it sounds like he doesn't want to. He's already picked his clubs anyway. But no, there's no one else that I reckon next year's more the free agency year. And I guess from our perspective with leaving, all the players that were unrestricted for us are all taken care of. So Kalina, Lynch, McIntosh, and Prestia, So
Yeah.
we're safe on that front. But yeah, I don't know. No one's jumping out.
It looks like next year is going to be the big year that happens every couple of years where there's a bunch of unrestricted free agents or free agents that they want to leave to come up to the tour. Like next year, if Zach Butters stays, next year Zach Butters is free. Everyone's going to be going after Butters as well. So
yeah, there'll be.
And we discussed off camera free agents out. We have none.
We have none. We have none. But next year there is a lot of players I think that are coming out of contract. I'm not sure how they all sit in terms of being if they're restricted or unrestricted, but I dare say if Zach Butters doesn't leave this year that he will be highly sought after next year. And we've got the cash to do almost whatever we want.
Yeah.
Well, that was a question I was going to ask. Richmond, now that Tom Lynch is no longer not the highest paid AFL player, because it came out, I think it was like the top 100 or top 10 highest paid player. Lynch was number 1 at 1.5. We're probably assuming he's probably not making anywhere near that much.
No.
This year's or next year's contract. No. What is Richmond doing with all this money? Because they would have to have a war chest bigger than St Kilda's war chest that St Kilda seemed to magically just have made out of nowhere, because Dusty's gone, Bolton's gone, Rioli's gone, Lynch is now be on a smaller contract. So we'd have to have
Prestia will be as well.
We have to start spending some money now to make it in that space, because I know you have to spend a certain amount of money anyway. Do you think we'll start seeing some players get contract extensions just to find a way to bump that up a little bit?
I think you get to bank it for a year or two. I don't know how many years in advance you can do that though, but yeah, if we don't, I mean, it doesn't feel like there's someone of big note to bring in this year. We might re-sign a couple of players, but even if we do, there's still a crazy amount of money left over. Like, because Prestia and Lynch would be on pretty much bargain basement contracts with this last year. Brody will have been the same. As you said, we lost the Bolton money, Dan Rioli money, Baker money. There's a lot of coin that is free. So if we don't spend it this year, I guess they'll just have a big kick-ass Christmas party and then reassess for next year. But as long as we can save the money for next year, we'll be fine. And I know it's been floated about being able to buy draft picks, not happening this year, but as a proposed thing for future years, which would be interesting as well if that was to ever come into play. But
that's NBA territory.
Yeah. But as long as we don't just spend the cash, like you don't want to give all these young kids mega contracts now, because then you're screwed for the future. Yeah. So.
Well, I do agree with James Racing is what he said here, is to extend some of the draftees from this year to get past that Tassie, which we did with Seth Campbell, where we now locked him up so that Tassie can't touch him. I do agree with probably Lawler and Houghton. I reckon those two are probably the ones that I would like to add another 2 years to their contract. I wouldn't be surprised if someone comes knocking for those two soon, because they look like they're probably going to get the best out of the draft out of everybody so far. So.
And that's the thing. All of those guys will ask, you would think, for 2-year deals, because they're going to want to back themselves in to improve and demand a bigger contract after that. I can't see any of them signing 3-4 year ones. It'd be nice, I guess, if they did. But, I think the cap's set to go up a little bit as well over the next coming years. So, as we've said before, though, I reckon we've got one of the best in charge of all the contract stuff and smoothing numbers over and juggling it all. So I've got absolute faith that we'll make all the right calls and pull all the right levers whenever we have to.
All right, we'll move on to Tim's list, because this is going to take a while. Tim's given me a good list to go through. So, Michael, have you got any questions you want to ask Tim? Because Tim seems to be my bloody go-to guru with the draftees. Feel free to jump in and ask him. I will let you go, Tim. We'll go with, obviously, you'll start with Dyson Sharp and give us what you think of him.
Yeah. So I actually saw him live at Marvel when they played with South Australia, when I think it was the game that won him the championship, and he was very impressive. Played as a mid forward, apparently future captain. What else is there? He's just a good all-round midfielder. Loves a tackle. Basically what we need, possibly, but I'd say he plays a little bit more like a Tom Green, if you want to put a likeness to a player. So it's do we need it? Don't we need it? It's more, I think we all know that based off this year that speed's our weakness in the midfield. So do we need a bigger body mid? Do we need a quicker midfielder? It's just really unsure which way.
Do you think this is where I find him a tricky one? Do you think with the? I'm going to add Smiley in shortly as well. Do you think he's too similar to some of the player types we've already got? As good as he is,
I think if anything, Graves is probably too similar to Smiley. If anything, but Sharp's more like a Tom Green. But that's like the thing. It's like, do you want to go? Considering like you read things and it's like, the bigger body midfielders are getting like sort of like not phased out, but like they're becoming less likable, if you want to put it.
yeah.
And then you're looking at a lot of like the quicker runners who are like your, let me think, like your Caleb Sarongs and all that. Like your Finn Callahan, like they're not big body, but like they're still bulky enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Do you think Sharp will get past West Coast? Because there's a lot of talk of it's like the ones that I've seen a lot of the times is now, well, West Coast, if they do get picked 2, and obviously they're asking for the exemption with signing a free agent, the talk was, will Dyson Sharp, Will Dersma, and Cooper Duff Tyler, between those 3, they reckon that at least 2 of them will end up at West Coast. Do you think he'll go pick one? Because I'm pretty sure Cal Toomey has him at number 1 as well.
I've actually got Cal Toomey's up right now.
Okay, cool.
Open draft, it's still Duff Tyler.
Yep.
Then it's Dersma. Then it's Sharp. So that's excluding.
Well, Widescreen reckons he was going to fall.
Who was?
Well, Widescreen reckons Sam Cummings will go above Sharp and Sharp will fall down. So that'd be a shocker.
I know where that's coming from, by the way.
Do you?
Dylan Alexander did a mock draft with True Footy, I think it is. And
yes,
they had Cumming at pick 2 and Dersma at pick 1. Or something.
Oh, wow.
It was some weird thing, I can't remember.
Okay.
If Sharp's at our pick, it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
He is hard to turn down. He just had a game on the weekend where he just dominated. I think he had like 28 and a couple of goals. And you could see why when I was starting to see that he was talking to him coming in that top 3. I was like, yeah, I can start to see why. But I have the same reserves as Rod does here. Is he too much like Jacob Hopper?
That's my worry. Like he's very similar to the players we've got. Like the annoying part is you would have to say he would categorically be a better player than the players he's similar to, but we struggle with pace as it is. Oh, I don't know. It kills me because he's a gun, but it's a timing thing.
That's why I'm unsure on Sharp and Graves. I mean, like Graves is probably lower top 10, but then it's like, which blueprint do we follow? Do we follow like GWS's blueprint where they've got Green and Callahan, and then you throw a blanket over a whole bunch of mids, really? Or do we go more Fremantles who don't really have that big body?
Yeah.
Well, technically, Richmond already have. If you look at last year's draft, already have the 2 big bodies. You have Sam Lawler and you have Smiley. So do you just now need to, in this year's draft, build around them with Houghton to be the speed, which then would technically make Sharp not a necessary draftee you want.
Yeah. I think, what was it? Who was saying it? I forget who from Richmond was saying it, but the Lawler's going to be 60-40 or 70-30. And then Houghton's going to be 60-40 or 50-50 in the future. So it's like, where do you see I really don't think we'll go for a big body, to be honest, but they're just options there, to be honest.
For sure. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And you still got Kane McAuliffe as well. Like he's not a small mid either. He's quite a decent size on him as well. But he does have some good burst as well. So people tend to forget about Kane McAuliffe because he's been injured for the last half of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, he's had a shocking run with injuries, to be honest.
Yeah.
The third player, Matt LeRae, is on there. It's a bit more of a unique pick, to be honest. He's actually more of a winger. So the whole reason why I added him in is because Well, it looked like McIntosh may have stayed or may have gone, and he started being sub a lot. So it's like, I thought it would have been a nice idea to maybe look at another winger, just a little bit. But again, it's only if we traded one of our picks down, which would most likely be pick 4 if West Coast get their compensation. So
we would have split a pick like with Gold Coast because
yeah,
Gold Coast have pick 6 and 11.
Yep.
So if you were to slide down and get pick 6 and 11, do you think you would take him at like pick 11 as that out of the top 10?
Yeah, I definitely would. I think that's around his draft range, I think. Yeah, it's a little bit more of a unique pick. And then there's obviously Sam Cumming, who I would say is very much like Jack Graham, but more of a midfielder than what Graham was. Like just a gut runner, just clean overhead, clean with ball skills, like everything under the sun. Like it's almost like a prototype midfielder right now.
Do you have the worry of the go home factor? Because he's from Adelaide, so he's a South Australian boy. Now I've had people say, "Oh, it shouldn't be a big deal." Richmond's we held on to Shane Edwards for quite some time as well, and we had Rancy from WA. We've done quite well with the go home factor. Obviously, until last year, where a few of the players wanted to go home. But do you have any concerns on that, or would you just take the risk?
I would have concerns. Let me try and word this. I think if you give them midfield time, they're less likely to go home. Like where with Bolton, like he wanted more midfield time, like originally. So did there's a few others who I remember who have moved clubs just for more midfield time. Who was it? But it's like I don't know. It's just really, it's a bit unique because it's like you're coming into a team that's fairly well built in the midfield, and then you're trying to add another mid forward into the mix. So it's like,
actually the one position you don't want to be trying to get a spot in, isn't it?
Exactly.
I think you've got to back yourself as a club, though, don't you? I know Bolton and all that left, but I would say that the difference is that they won flags, so they kind of achieve what they need to achieve. So there's less keeping them to the club, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if they're talented, they're talented. I reckon you just got to take the gamble.
Oh, I think with Sam Cummings, I think the talent's too hard to say no to. I think he's just that once he would get himself into the right zone, that kicking to coming inside 50 with the the ability to mark overhead is just so hard to say no to. It's like Harvey Langford last year. Yeah. I was all for him having that ability to mark overhead. I think these days is starting to fade a lot more than it used to. And his penalty and kick coming inside 50 is elite. And he kicks goals. Like most of his under 18s game, he's kicked a couple of goals per year. And then he went into the played for North Adelaide and kicked a couple of goals per game as well. It's really hard to turn. To me, it's another Sam Lawler, but I think he's got a lot more pace on him than Lawler does.
Yeah. I think, though, if we do push him up the draft board, I think they'll work very well in tandem with each other.
Yeah.
Like, it's like kind of like that Lawler can be center bounce and then move around to like the forward line and then Cumming can go the opposite way. Like, you're not losing out on much either way, but it can get a bit complicated when you're dealing with kids and you're dealing with, I guess, going from 18s up to AFL level. Like, they take a bit of time to prepare and all that. So
then it's Callaway now, which is father and son. Ooh.
Yeah, it's exactly what I've got him in. Another one I saw live, and I absolutely love what he's got. Has got that grit like his dad, like Duncan had, exactly the same grit that his uncle Andrew had even. Like he's a bit, how do I explain him? He's a bit of a more like your Zach Merritt kind of midfielder, or if you don't want him to play inside, he's more like your Jace Burgoyne. So he's a bit of a unique player, but very accurate by foot, very good inside 50. Very good he's very smart around the stoppages even. So it's like, I think it's a really good sort of player to have, even if he wasn't our father's son. So
Yeah,
I
he's
mean-
actually one. The one thing that always stood out to me with Louis was his work rate, his two-way running, his willingness to run back and help defense out as soon as the ball turns over is super high, which is good. Doesn't have big kick penetration, but like you said, he's really good with his passing. He takes the safe and smart option, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's why he's not being touted higher, because he doesn't have one really elite quality, but he does a lot of things very well. And I've often said this, as much as Dyson Sharp did smash the championships, if he had 25 disposals a game, 8 of them were because Louis Callaway fed it to him out of a stoppage.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is him doing his role, right? That's him understanding how the game's playing and where it's all at. So he's a smart kid, a smart footballer. And I think we'd be crazy not to grab him.
Well,
Do you think you'll play this next? If we were to, obviously we're probably going to take him anyway. Do you think you'll play next year, or do you think you need to know like a year in the VFL to then eventually get a game?
I think he might need a year in the VFL, or not exactly a year. He might debut late, like kind of like, how do I explain it? More like a Hodden if Hodden wasn't injured. Like, I mean, it's probably incorrect, but it's more like you're looking
After the bye.
Yeah, you're looking to like develop him, get the game pace going and all that, and then think about debuting him. But I know at this stage, I think Cal Toomey and I also think Rookie Me also have him outside the top 45. So with the changes to the draft this year, I think anything after pick 37, we just match the bid and we get him for free, or we get him for free if there's a bid. So it's like there's no real lost pick.
So I reckon that ranking's quite remarkable. Maybe I'm being biased, but if you look at his numbers, he's averaging like high 20s every week, and good tackles, good clearances. We'll take it. If we can get him for free, we'll take it. But I agree with you. I think he'll have to play VFL for a year, because I think the problem he's got is his primary spots, either midfield or defense, which are both. Our defense is pretty well settled, and the midfield, well, we just spoke about that. There's quite a bit happening there, but there'll undoubtedly be opportunities at some point in the season to have a crack, assuming the VFL's going well. I would imagine.
Yeah,
and if you go off from when you tracked him, Michael, he started off in those, I think it was like 18, 19, and then he's just gradually every single game he's gone up and up and up, which is what you would want out of a prospect, that every game they find something to get better at. And every single game the report comes out, he seems like he's got better and better.
Yeah, I think he's grown into the season, if you want to put like a term to it. I think at the start he was more like trying to find his feet, and then he's just grown. So it's really interesting, and it's just like the thing is that he can play half forward, half back, wing, inside midfielder. So it's kind of like he has no like I want to be here yet. Like I want to be in this position.
Well, James asked, could he play wing?
He could.
Definitely could.
He doesn't have that elite speed like a Hugo Ralphsmith, though, which is annoying. But he's disciplined. He's going to work hard for you. He's going to tackle and do all those things. He'll be good around stoppages.
Could he be a tagger?
That's a tough one. It's a really tough question. He is a very good defensive midfielder, though. I've seen that. I don't know if tagger, but very good. Yeah, very good. Very high IQ with stoppages.
Okay, so something we could actually use.
Yeah.
We'll go on to your next slide, because I've got 3 for you. So Cooper Duff Tytler is the next one.
Yeah. Interesting one. I don't know. It just really depends on what West Coast do. Like, I've heard so many things about West Coast, by the way. Like, I've heard that they might take Lindsay. I've heard that they might look at home and look to trade down. Like, I've heard so many things, and I'm like, I'm lost. But I love what Duff Tytler does, though. Like, it's more a pick of, with the rule change, potentially, but at the same time, he's going to play like Luke Jackson has, like as a key forward early on, and then potentially move into the ruck at some point. But I don't know if he has. Who is it? I forget who. There's a couple of ruck who are like, they look really good, but they just get monstered at like stoppages and center bounces and all that. So it's like He almost plays like a floating midfielder, if you want to put a term to it.
Yeah, okay. So would you take him at pick, technically right now, pick 2 and 3?
I probably wouldn't. I think there's more upside in Dersmer and Lindsay and Cumming even. Like I think there's more upside in like that sort of mix.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. We'll move on to the next player then, mate.
Yeah. Another one I saw live at Marvel.
No, he's shit like his brothers. No, we don't want him. He's shit like his brothers. No, we don't want him.
Funny you mentioned that. I actually had a very similar comment today. Someone said he's just like his brothers. I'm like, his brothers could not play the role that he has this year. They would actually crumble if they were put in the role. Like I saw Dersmer as a halfback flanker. I saw him as a half forward. I saw him as a wing with Casey in the VFL. Like he played wing and absolutely monstered on debut. I've seen him as a backwards of centre mid. I've seen him as a forward of centre mid. Like there's just like so many different roles, and I think that's why if there's any of the top 5 I'd want, it'd probably be Dersmer, without a doubt.
Yeah, okay. Well, but people are having him as going as pick 1 or 2 to West Coast.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him go past pick 3.
If it happens, it'll be like Christmas. It will really be like Christmas.
They could put onto the wing.
I was going to ask, where would you see him playing if Richmond was to take him?
Wing.
He could be the wingman. Yeah.
So think about. Yeah, no, that's a perfect player actually. Think about Harvey Langford. Like Harvey Langford played as a half forward wing. I would see Dersmer playing that, but I've seen the stoppage work he does. It's just he'll need a body. Like he'll need to grow in size a bit, but like he's so nimble for the height he is. Like it's ridiculous. But the other thing is we've got Smiley, who's very similar. So it's like I don't know if it's worth it. Which is why I think we'll probably look at Lindsay and partner him with Banks of the halfback. Going into Lindsay, I think he's probably got the most unique kick of the draft that I've ever seen out of any player recently. I've seen someone break it down, and it's just I don't know how he does it. So you know how players can kick around corners and they tend to like banana and check side and all that? Lindsay will just straight drop on it around a corner. And people are saying he's so strong in his hips, he's so strong in his legs or even, and it's more like I don't know. A lot of people see him playing as a wing or as a halfback, but there could be scope to become like Max Holmes a little bit. I don't know.
So start at the back line and then eventually get midfield time.
Potentially, but it's more of a risk considering, again, potentially how strong our midfield can be.
Yeah. I think he's ready to go top 5. Reports were if he slides by Richmond, Essendon will take him straight away. And a lot of things I've seen, a lot of Essendon supporters are quite annoyed that Richmond will probably take him before they get a chance to get to him because from what I've heard, Essendon's all over him and they love him.
Yeah, I've heard the same. I've heard they love it's more his kicking. It can break any zone down, really. No, I wouldn't say
it's an insane kick. I've seen some of his highlights, and he takes the risky kicks, and generally he tends to make them every time. And he's got a low penetrating kick as well. He's not afraid to take on the players as well. And the 1-2 I've noticed was a few of his highlights. So the 1-2 efforts are there, where he makes a mistake, he's willing to go again and try and redeem himself for what he's done wrong, which is a pretty good trait. You don't see many young players. I think Luke Trainer is the other one I've only really seen do that as a defender, where Luke Trainer will make a mistake and he'd go again to try and fix it.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen his second and the third efforts. Like it's like he just it's like, okay, I made a mistake. How do I fix it? It's not like I made a mistake and what do I do? It's like just instinct, really.
Would you reckon West Coast would take Lindsay at all for that to add to their defense? Because they've got a weak defense right now, and they could probably West Coast could use Josh Lindsay as that running back. So instead of Harley Reid always going back there.
Yeah, that's my other thought, which is why it's hard to tell with that top 3 in that open draft, really. I mean the top 5, but the top 5 is not really the top 5, if that makes sense.
There's a question for you both here. You could probably answer. Who's a better two-way runner out of these guys? Like that's probably not a bad point with considering the players we really need to draft. That we don't have a lot of two-way runners right now.
Callaway would honestly be up there as one of the best two-way runners. For the footage I saw, thought Cumming worked hard both ways as well.
Yeah,
and I probably haven't seen enough of Dersma, so you might be better qualified on Dersma, Tim. But yeah, I think they would both maybe work harder than Lindsay. And Lindsay's consistency is probably the only other thing that is the only other question mark. But the kid can kick a ball. He's one of the best kicks, so that counts for something.
I think Dersma's a bit harshly done by, mainly because he was playing as a halfback most of the year.
It doesn't feel like it's his position either, does it? I get what they were trying to do, but it just doesn't. I think he did it in the VFL for Melbourne and it went okay. But I reckon long term he's definitely that would be an ideal wingman for us, assuming that he can grow bigger than Riley Collier Dawkins.
There it is.
You've gone there.
You've gone there.
I know Lindsay probably has the consistency issues because he played most of the year as a wing, which actually surprised me. So it's like instead of getting like that 25-30 off the halfback, he was only averaging like around 20 off a wing, which makes no sense with probably his kicking is the best in the draft.
It's a fair point, Ken. I'm a big fan of dual-sided players. I don't understand why it's not such a highly demanded prerequisite these days.
There is,
or at least when they come and teach them that skill. That's one thing I've noticed as well. Some players come in and they'll try and put it on their opposite foot, but I feel like it's not drilled as much as it was when I remember Dusty came in, didn't have the opposite foot. By the end of his career, he could use his other foot, not all the time, but as an emergency when he needed to.
Yeah. I think that was why we went. I think that's one of the reasons why we went Taj Hodden, really. One of.
Yeah.
Like the fact that...
I don't know much about Jacob Farrer. You have to probably give us a bit more information on him, Tim. I have seen some of his highlights, but not enough to really know much about him.
I've seen him play in a range of roles. I've seen him play as a third tall. I've seen him play as a halfback. I saw him at Marvel too, and he played as a midfielder. The very first time he played as a midfielder, I managed to see it live. And I was like, there is something there. There is something very like Hayden Young, like Jordan Dawson, like all those very similar players. But I don't know, again, it's a bit of a reach at 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So it's like if we
split though, agree.
Yeah. Which will be a question we'll probably talk about later on. If you guys are okay with the idea of splitting, we'll probably wait until afterwards to have that conversation, because I think that's everybody's going to vary on that, on their own opinions, whether they want to split or don't want to split. So we'll do that after. And this is probably one of Michael's players I've seen that he's pretty big on, Noah Gibbons Hargrave. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you got, Tim? What information we got on him that you reckon? Is this another split pick player as well?
Yeah. He has split all the draft boards. All of the draft boards. I'm not joking. I've seen him as high as top 5, I've seen him as low as in the 20s. Mainly because he didn't play championships, he was injured. But he's another player who can work well in tandem with Lawler and Taj.
Yeah.
Agree.
What else is there? Yeah.
His handball, one thing I will say, he needs to clean his handballs up.
Yeah. But
I don't know if you guys have noticed that. When he was watching the game, he gets the ball a lot and he gets the handball, but a lot of times he just gets it. I don't know if he's panicking or he thinks somebody's there and he just handballs it and it ends up being a turnover. But I like that he's getting into the contest and getting the ball, but I reckon if he was to clean up that handball game, it would put him in a lot higher of a level in the draft as well. Or going to the AFL, it would make him a lot more of a desirable player to have as a midfield or forward, half forward sort of role.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen his moments of brilliance. I've seen his lowlights. I've seen everything in between that. It's how do I explain him? He plays like Heaney and like a Cam Rayner without the body work. So it's sort of like he'll at this stage he fades in and out of games very easily. I don't know if that was because of the injuries or if that's what he just naturally does, but he has a lot of speed, a lot of quickness. He is composed under pressure, but I think that's pressure when he's in a bit of space. From what you're saying, like he does turn over his handballs, which can be very annoying.
I like him. I'm a big fan. He's very inconsistent. That's probably been the biggest issue. And it could be down to injuries. I don't know. But he can also win games off his own boot, kicking multiple goals, clutch goals. I see him being a perfect partner for Taj Houghton. And he was one that actually Cam Hicks did mention in Feb that Hibbins Hargreaves was his favourite prospect of this draft and was the one that he thought could bolt up the highest if he hit the potential that he thought he had. And I think we've seen what that looks like, but it's just being able to unlock that on a more consistent basis.
I think the next player is probably the biggest one who will move up the draft board. And I know
we'll do that now for you.
Yeah. Just what can I say about him?
He's very much like his brother, isn't he, from Saints? His brother plays for Saints, isn't it?
Yeah. Much better than his brother, though.
Yeah.
I mean, considering that when you think of dual sport athletes, they're like football or cricket or something like that. He was a former decathlete. So,
Jesus.
Yeah.
Can run for days.
Think about having to do 10 track and field events over 2 days. It's just, I don't know what to say. But he's often a controversial one as well. Because he missed the championships, hasn't helped him. And he's one I wish I saw in person.
Yeah.
But I didn't manage to see him in person at all because he was injured. So very quick, very elusive, very slick, very clean, just very good overhead. There is a lot of things that go right, but as Noah O'Connor just said, he can have brain fades and he tries to do too much. But I think that's more just like a teenage thing, like a kid thing, really. Like that's very easy to work out of a game. It's very hard to fix on sloppy kicking, as we've seen with Elijah Sidus. Like very high draft rate, but very bad kicking.
There you go. Let's just do it. Let's just get him to piss off St Kilda.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
So was he late to starting football then on the back of his athletic stuff, or had he always played junior footy? Do we know?
I know. So he was a bronze medalist for decathlon in South Australia. So I don't know if that was as a 16-year-old or as a 17-year-old.
So there's a chance that he hasn't had as much exposure at footy than
Yeah.
some of these other kids. So they're meaning there could be a lot more scope for growth.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think last I heard it was he did the decathlon at under 16. So he's only had 2 real proper years at football. And I don't know if that's even 100% like where Lawler was stuck between cricket and AFL. I think it's very similar with Philippou as well, where he didn't have that 100% all in AFL like a lot of people do. So the chances are maybe the potential is a lot higher than a lot of other players because he hasn't thrown up 100% of his effort straight into the game yet. So
yeah, okay.
And that's also why I'm happy to potentially take him at pick 3 and 4.
Oh wow, that's a big jump.
You'd go that high? Shit.
I would. I actually would.
What's Calgary rated as?
Oh,
I think he's top.
Hang on, might be a bit of scrolling, but
I think the last I saw him, he was like 6. I think Rookie Me had him at like in the top 20.
So Cal Toomey has him at 17.
There you go.
I also have Rookie Me's open. Rookie Me has him at 18.
Yeah,
but I think
so
there's
might be those ones where you split picks.
Yeah, but I think there is a lot more scope than what people are suggesting. I think there is more upside in him than, say, probably even like it's a bit controversial, but I'd say he probably has similar scope to Dersma. But because he didn't play much football, it's a bit hard to say,
So what I'm hearing is that we're going to turn the draft on its head. We're going to go Sullivan Roby and then Philippou and just cause utter chaos on draft night.
Just to help you to it.
So in other words, like JWS.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Someone just said
go.
Football's a summer sport, so they'll clash.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Well, it's not too bad then. Well, do you see him as a midfield or a forward? Or do you think he'll do the sort of Taj where he'll play a bit of both at the start until he find out what his best niche is?
I see him as a forward of centre midfielder.
Yeah. Okay.
So that
would he be a wingman? Actually, that's a good question. With his running capability, is it a high burst or is it just that he's sort of like Kane Lambert, where they just run for days and don't stop?
That's a good question. I know I haven't seen him much, but I would say I don't know. I would say that he is a bit of a burst runner, but I would also say he just runs for days though, considering the sport he did. Yeah, because of the decathlon, they were doing like 100, 200 meter sprints, but they're also doing like the really long distance running. So it's like, that's why I'm saying I wish I saw more of him this year, to be honest. I wish I saw him play championships, but he was injured. So
it could be a future wingman for Richmond who high burst, and then if he can run for days, constant on and off, he could be a definitely good Kane Lambert replacement for that. Because I remember Kane Lambert wasn't that super fast player, but he could just run, and that's why he worked so well with Dustin, because Dustin would run hard and then get burnt out and be tired and then they need to break. So,
yeah. I've seen a lot of left field suggestions for another wingman. Mitch Marsh, who played forward for South Australia, but is an elite kick of the ball at 191 centimetres. And I've seen a lot of people throwing out suggestions that we should consider him as not a forward because we're obviously pretty well stocked there. He can obviously drift down there and kick a couple of goals if he wants, but maybe run him on a wing, which I thought was a very, very interesting suggestion. And I just wouldn't know if he had the tank or running capacity to do so, but I guess it was all predominantly based around his skill set. He can also play cricket too. So
funny you mentioned that. He has played wing a couple of times.
Has he? Okay, all the games I saw he was forward. That's interesting if he actually has played wing.
That's the name we're thinking of there. Harley Baker.
Oh my goodness.
He's the other South Australian wingman that was paired with Matt. That was when I was going to bring up, but I couldn't remember his name. He was another wingman that's top 15 as well.
He was insane to watch. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
He's he has the body of an inside midfielder, but has the tank of a winger.
Okay.
And
So we
he's
could
very
have
good by foot.
we could have Harley Reid and Liam Baker back at our team, all within one name.
Yeah.
Same as when Hawthorn got Mitchell Lewis when they drafted him.
I swear that was deliberately done.
I think it was.
Names, I swear.
I think it was. Still
It was like a pick in the 90s. It was a super late, one of the last ones for the draft.
No, I think it was like 55 or 60. Like it was still very, very late back there. It was still funny.
I think it was late because, I mean, the draft only goes to like pick 60, 65 now anyway. So,
yeah.
I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, I was about to look it up, but I'm like, I don't want to.
Oh, well, what I'll do is we'll start with the
pick number 76.
What? We're in the middle between.
What, that late?
Yeah, it was honestly one of the last. Wow. Like people were passing at that stage, and when they read it, and that's why I was convinced it was a piss take on the name because they just traded Jordan Lewis and Sam Mitchell, and like they're just doing this just to wind up their own supporters here.
To rub it in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's funny. We'll do trades out of the club. So players that you would probably want to trade out to maybe gain assets because obviously, as everybody knows, Richmond don't have anything after pick 3 and 4 or 2 and 3 technically. Because pretty sure our second round is to I think it's Fremantle. Our third round is to Port Adelaide, and I think our fourth rounder now is to Gold Coast. So obviously we need to get some points in or a pick in at least for Callaway if he's going to slip past. What is it? 30, you think it is? Or do you not even have to have a pick for him?
I'm looking at it now.
I think if it goes after pick 53, somewhere around that mark, you just need a list.
No.
Or is it higher?
No, I think it's 37, but we'd have to use another pick.
Okay.
So that's why I was going to get in. You need another pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
So going into that, I haven't really noticed any players I want to trade out. Like being like,
I had two.
I've got two,
and this was one of them. Blight.
Yeah, I've got Blight and
Kaczynski was my other one. I think that's showing some sort of value, maybe not as a major key piece, but I could see that North Melbourne and Bulldogs have come knocking on anybody defender that seems to be wanting to leave or might not have a contract.
Yeah.
And North Melbourne probably has the worst defense in the competition, and I wouldn't be surprised considering he played really well in the VFL. Kaczynski played really well, and Blight as a defender would have some sort of trade value, nothing major, maybe like a third or fourth round pick.
That's all we need is a token pick to be able to get Callaway. We can't ask for much more than that, given that we refuse to play him, which still confused me a little bit. But I think the Tyler Young one makes things interesting too. I guess Campbell Gray signing, which I'm completely wrapped about. I feel like they kind of can play the same role, but Young obviously had the chance to do it for longer at AFL level. And Uze has said that Bolter he sees as a defender, so he'll be redeployed back there. Gibcus is back in the mix. So it does, again, feel like we're very heavy on for defenders. And as much as I really do love Tyler Young, and my preference would be to keep him, maybe a club like the Bulldogs come with an offer that's too good to refuse. But I'm finding it really difficult to work out what that might be. Like a first round is not really going to happen. But I'm like, is a second rounder valuable? Like, is that worth it for both clubs, or is that too high? I think he's better the value than a third. I just don't know where it would land, especially being out of contract if it was to eventuate.
Yeah,
I would say a second is the minimum I'll go down, because he's still a restricted free agent because he hasn't played 8 years in the system. So we can match the money whatever they're giving him, and then he's got no choice. So
yeah. Who else was there? I think Kaczynski was looked at by JWS. Blight missed the trigger in his contract by a game, and there's speculation he might go to West Coast. And then with Tyler Young, I think, who is it? I've got it right here. North Melbourne, Bulldogs, and West Coast are looking at him. So all three of those players would have to be trades anyway.
Yeah.
So-
Neil is one. What about Tyler Sonzi? Would you trade? I think if you're going to bring in some of these players we've already named, would probably nearly take his spot in the
problem
team.
is like Sonzi and Young are both out of contract, so we don't really have leverage for either of those players, which is tough. I like Sol's suggestion if we could somehow get Joel Frazier out of the Bulldogs in incorporation with Tyler Young. Frazier would actually be a really nice addition to us from a pace and size perspective. I'm not sure whether the Doggies would be up for that, to be honest, but
good luck.
Sonzi's an interesting one. Like I've been a big supporter of his, and we talk about dual-sided players earlier. He's a prime example of one that we do have currently in the side who can kick the footy on both feet and hit targets. And for some of his shortfalls, with maybe not cracking into contests as much as we would like him to, he's one of the few that will often hit targets more often than not, which is valuable as well. But it's just trying to, can he hold his spot? Will there be players that overtake him? I don't know. I wouldn't begrudge him if he was going to get opportunity elsewhere or a longer contract for job security, which may happen. Because I feel like if we were offering him something, it might only be a 1-year deal, is what I would.
I'd say the same.
I'll be back in 1 second, boys. Like you just chat. I just got my daughter yelling at me. I'll be back in
That's
a second.
fine.
That's all right.
Just keep chatting about something. I'll be back in a quick second.
It's all right.
Yeah, I agree. Sonzi for 1 year. I think I still think there's a bit more to unlock with him to see where it goes.
I've seen he's played in half forward most of the time, hasn't he? In the
AFL. But what I've liked in the latter part of the year is like him and Seth Campbell and Houghton have been pushing up the ground higher around stoppages. I know a lot of us has talked about him not being in the centre bounce, which I think we have to accept just isn't going to happen because of the other players we've got. But if we can get him up around stoppages, I think that still helps sort of getting the ball out. And I do like that he is dual-sided and is prepared to try and hit targets. But it just, whether other players will pass him or not. Solo, that's an interesting one. Sonzi straight swap for Sam Butler. Butler's got some good pace, but I guess it's just will Sonzi want opportunity elsewhere? Couldn't. And Thompson Dow's the other one too, who was told today that, he might have been told a little while ago that they'll wait to offer him a contract until they see what pans out on the draft night. I don't know about you, Tim. I interpreted that as we need to wait and see if we split the pick and take another draftee. Essentially, is how straightforward I thought that was.
That's how I saw it too. That's why originally when we did the list, we were like, if we're going to trade a pick, should we factor in players for this video for the potential to trade down? So I think it really depends on who's there at 3 and 4. Not 3 and 4, but 2 and 3 at the moment. But
it definitely feels like it's going to be something that's done on the night. I think Joan Grayson mentioned it earlier that there's going to be some mega offers depending on. It all comes down to what West Coast do as to what player is going to be in high demand. I'm just having flashbacks to the trade on the night of draft with Kangaroos. If we can pull up a heist again, it's going to be fantastic. I'm back in Blair, and he's a gun.
But also, the draft night will also depend on whether AFL allows West Coast to have that.
Surely not
adjustment. Well, a lot of most people I've seen, even like True Footy, who's a major West Coast fan, he goes, "I just don't see the AFL doing it." And if they do it, it'd be the biggest bullshit I've ever seen because they didn't do it for bloody Gold Coast or North, who were in a worse situation. Both of them haven't won a flag or haven't won a flag in a very long time, and have been down the bottom of the ladder a lot longer. Yeah. And I didn't see Adelaide ask for a compensation picks or any assistant package when they went down, and I didn't see Hawthorn ask for anything either. So why would the AFL also allow the richest club in the AFL to assign a good free agent and keep their pick too? I would be, hey, if you want that, you can have him, and we'll give you a late first round pick as well. So do what they did with North Melbourne.
Or they open, or they say here's an extra list spot to put an NGA player on or something. I think there's so many bad repercussions if they just say, you can have Starcevic and keep pick 2, no worries. It would just cause AFL don't care. They'll write their own rules and do whatever they want. But it'll cause utter chaos. So, yeah.
I don't think they'll do it, but I just definitely don't think they'll do it.
I know the only club who got knocked back on a priority pick since it changed is Carlton.
That's because they have themselves to blame for being shit.
No, this was because they made finals for so many years. That's why.
They might get a 30th anniversary present. They're not winning a grand final. They might feel bad for them and give them another little gift in a brown paper bag.
I did see this one today. I don't think Essendon can get a round one brand for Draper. Because they would have to, I did hear this rule. I don't know if you guys know the rule on how to get a band one. Mitch Cleary did a video about it. So it has to be, I think it's above $900,000 or close to $900,000. And they have to be under the age of 26. And it has to be more than 5 years or more to get a band one. So I just don't know if Draper is going to get that.
What about, I saw today that there's speculation that St Kilda that Carlton could get pick 9 and 10 for De Koning and Silvani. Who was paying that much for Silvani? De Koning, fair enough, I can understand that. But
I think that's when it came out that they can't get that for Silvani because he's older than 26.
I don't think that's entirely 27. Right.
Well, that's what Mitch Cleary had said. It was on Footy and Friends with Dylan and Delidio and all that, and they came out and they had the voiceover of Mitch Cleary saying that they have to be under the age of 26 and the money has to be above, I think it's 850 plus, which is why they won't get a band one for Jack Silvani. If he goes, they'll get a band two, which will give him like an early second round pick.
But then how old's Oscar Allen?
I think Oscar's 24.
No, he's 26. He'll be 27 at the start of next year.
Yeah, so because he's doing it this year, they'll get that pick. And he's $1 million. Apparently the contract is $1 million per year for Oscar.
Ridiculous.
For Oscar Allen?
Yeah. I think it's like 5 year for $1 million per year.
And like the last 45 seconds of this chat is exactly what's wrong with the system, is that no one knows the actual rules to how this works, except for someone at AFL House. They can just make it up as they go. We know about three-quarters of it.
Yeah.
We know three-quarters of it, right?
And then they've got the secret herbs and spices that can do whatever they want.
It's not all that secret, though. It's just really complicated to work out.
Yeah. Overcomplicated. So, like,
very.
if Essendon was to get another band one, which I don't think they will, I just don't know who's going to pay. No, okay. St Kilda would do it. They might offer him over $800,000.
They've got endless money supply.
I don't know. Ross is digging into his bank account just to pay extra money just to help out.
They are all in.
Well,
it'll be interesting. Like, if West Coast do get it,
yeah,
West Coast have 1 and 2. We have 3, 4. Essendon 5, 6. I can't remember the last time.
So yeah, top.
If any time that's happened.
Yes, Essendon have 5, 6 because they have the D's first round from last year.
Oh, they do.
And then it's Hawthorn. Yeah. I think it's no. Is it St Kilda? Then Hawthorn and
Gold
then
Coast, St Kilda.
Yeah,
there you go.
But to have the double picks for the first 6 would be extraordinary.
Oh, it would be.
I just don't think they will. Or they should just try and trade him, which is another way they can do it. They trade Oscar Allen and Starcevic and find a way to mix around so that it doesn't compromise the band one. That's the only other way they can do it to not affect us. So then we would have to pick 2 or 3. So yeah, because you can trade, but you can't do a sign. And if you do a sign, it causes issues. But also back when I remember this, I don't know if you guys do, when Brennan Ellis left Richmond and Richmond lost him and he was meant to sign, his contract was long enough and enough money where it would sign a band 1 first round compensation for Richmond. And the AFL said, no, that's not fair because you just won a premiership. You shouldn't be getting an early first round pick. And then they moved it to the end of, or I think it was at the start of the second round. So like the AFL is happy to move it when you're on top.
Yeah.
So there are rules that can be changed at any time they want to do it.
Yeah. Going back to St Kilda, what are they doing? They're getting Lekalia, Tom DeConnie,
DeConey. Who else was there? It was
potentially Silvani.
Chenchi
Dylan
Sufani.
Flanders.
There's a couple other players that have actually put their hands in.
Oh yeah, and
Who?
Flanders. If they get
Liam
Flanders.
Ryan.
Flanders, yeah.
Liam Ryan.
Oh no,
Yes,
Liam Ryan was the other
Ryan's
one.
Western trade there.
So
I think
if
it's
they get
4 or 5.
Liam Ryan, Lekalia, Jack Silvani, Tom DeConnie, they're potentially looking at $3 million for those players.
No, it's actually more than that because Lekalia was $800,000 apparently, or $900,000 a year, and that's 1.7 for DeConey. Ryan was apparently 650 to 750,000.
Yes,
and
Zach Merritt.
and Jack Silvani was $850,000 to $900,000 for 4 years.
And Messiah Wanganeen Malira money they just spent too.
Yeah.
But
the thing is that with St Kilda is they didn't have any $1 million player until now.
Yeah.
So everyone is fairly even, like with Hawthorn, because apparently James Sicily's only on $950,000 a year.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's sitting in that 600. Yeah. Everyone's sitting in that 600 to 900,000. So
I just think Saints get a blow. I think I can see what the Saints are doing. They're not a destination club like Richmond, Carlton, Essendon, Hawthorn, Collingwood are. So the only other way they can draw those sort of attractive players is the checkbook.
Yeah.
Can we take a moment to laugh at the fact that Charlie Kerner's prepared to take a pay cut to leave Carlton after signing for 4 years? Can we just appreciate the humour in that for our Navy Blue supporters out there? They are in a world of hurt if he leaves. I know they got Mackay, who's a good player. No, what's the reason?
That he's had 4 surgeries in 12 months.
So it's the same as Ridley from Essendon, where he wants to go because he's sick of the injuries and he believes they're mismanaging Josh Ridley's injuries.
See, these things are interesting, right?
Brisbane.
I can understand the player frustration, but I think there's an element of onus on the players who would be undoubtedly pushing harder than what they should be to get back because it's the nature of them being competitive beasts, right? Yes. I get it. But I don't think they can squarely and 100% put the blame on the medical staff. I think they have to realise that they maybe push the boundaries a little bit along the journey as well. I would be shocked if all of their recoveries were to the complete letter of the book for the duration it should have been. They would have cut corners to get back. That's just what players do.
Someone told me today that most of this is just the manager leaking information, which wouldn't surprise me.
You got to love managers.
It's just I just find it funny how Ridley wants to get away where he's not his injury and go to a different club, but he picks Brisbane
because Brisbane are at the top.
Yeah, I just and I understand why Kerno wants to go to Sydney. He wants to get out of the media bubble. Apparently, that's a lot of what it is. But he wants to go to Geelong, and I'm like, well, Geelong's not any better with a media bubble either. They're just up the road. So
Geelong success again.
Yeah, yet again, success. You're not going to. It's not that none of them are offering to go to bloody North Melbourne.
I mean, that'd be funny.
Oh, good one, Ken.
Well, there's a question for you, Michael.
Geez, I fired up the natives with some Cody Walker stuff, didn't I?
It's a good question for you.
So
I just read it.
He can't technically change his. Well, he could change his mind, I suppose.
No, he can't.
But he might not have a choice. If the lockout comes into effect and they're going to lock out the first 10 picks or the first round that no one can take him Father, Son, or Academy, whatever he wants really doesn't matter because he'll be open market. And this is where us having had him in the Academy could actually come in handy again because I'm assuming we're going to be bottom 4 again in somewhere around the area to be there to pick him if the lockout happens, that I think he would feel as comfortable hopefully, if we were to select him. I don't think we would leave him on the table for Carlton, put it that way. I think we've done enough legwork and put enough hours in and feel enough of a relationship and things like that. I think we would take him. I think other clubs might do the right thing and pass potentially, but I don't think we would. No. I would be pissed off if we did. We've done legwork as well. He was impressed with our club. We've got a good culture. We've got plenty of players there that he'll know, like Tanner Armstrong and things like that. And I'm 100% taking him if there's a lock. And like I see Carlton supporters saying, "Oh, we'll just play him in the Bush League and we'll hide him." You can't hide him. He's been playing Vic Country as an underager. Everyone knows the kid's a gun. Like you're not hiding him. We all know.
I mean, he pulled out another 30 disposal game on the weekend.
Yeah, it's past the point of hiding him. That's not happening.
Funny you mentioned people mentioning. What'd you say?
Sorry, Tim, go.
Funny you mentioned Tanner Armstrong. I was just listening to Talking Tigers before this. Apparently he's moving over to South Australia. And he's doing his schooling at Scotch College.
Okay.
So there could be it's a better schooling program, by the way.
Okay.
Much better.
Oh, okay.
And I've heard a lot about Duffy as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the highlights from the other day.
I'm heavily invested in the Archie Duffy Tanner Armstrong combination. They are good mates, which is good. So I have been really impressed with Archie Duffy's improvement this year. He sort of started the year as almost a full-time forward pocket. It's because of his height as well, but that's just what happens when you play as an underage. You kind of go to the back of the queue a little bit. But then he's working the APS, playing, like transitioning to a midfielder, playing inside, outside, kicked some clutch goals, played a bit on the wing, and then he's doing a bit more good work for the Geelong Falcons as well. He's really come a long way, and he's actually 9 months behind age-wise than the other draftee. So he's probably going to get a lot better towards the back end when he kind of gets that bit older and gets a little bit bigger. But he's looking good. He does kick the ball a lot, doesn't like to handball, but he's got good goal sense and good burst of speed. Loves the tackle. Tanner Armstrong does find the ball quite a bit. So I'm liking him. I'm actually hoping to get Nick and Archie on for a chat at some stage to talk about all things footy.
That will be big.
Jack Lees, Noah. So I was asking the same question. He wasn't showing up for Woodville because he was playing a heap of school footy, which was almost impossible to find. He was playing for Sacred Heart. So they were in the grand final, I believe. I'm not sure how he went, but no, I think he's back in the fold in some way. I think he was named in is it like a futures game? I think it is one of these upcoming games. There's another game that's
the futures game. Duffy and Armstrong got named in.
There was something else that Lays got named in. I can't remember what it was, but he's back in the mix. So it was just school footy was why we couldn't see him in the Sandful.
Was there a futures for school footy or something? I can't remember.
Maybe I have to do some digging on him, but
he
was looking okay too.
I've tried digging on Lace so much and been unable to find anything.
Yeah,
it's like a needle in a haystack.
I know anything Sandful related is so difficult, and it drives me insane. You've got to pay to be able to watch the bloody footage as well.
But, I noticed that.
Yeah, very annoying. Futures grand final. It might be that one widescreen. I'm not sure, but I know he's back into the frame, and he was looking really good. Again, he was another one who I thought started to come along well. It must be difficult for kids. Like in under 16s, he was playing as like Woodville's main on baller, and then you're playing half forward pocket, and then you sort of play a bit of wing, and you just got to wait for your opportunity when you hit your right age group and just make the most of it. But he's got good from a speed perspective. Between he, Armstrong, and Daffy, they've all got some good wheels, which is nice. So we're screaming out for pace. So hopefully we can get an injection of that next year.
Daffy is going to be very, very interesting.
Where do you reckon you'll end up, as in like pick range wise?
It's a little bit even. Yeah, Armstrong won't go to South Australia. Yeah, we can still get him.
Yeah, I'm not sure that system works.
Because I think, how do they do it? I think Armstrong will still have his residence in Victoria, but he'll just be going to school in South Australia.
Over there. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of it's a bit of a technicality. Because it's more where...
Very good.
It's either where you're born or where you have majority of your residency. So if you're like a 4-year-old and you move from Victoria to South Australia, then they classify you as South Australian.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of across the board. To go back to Daffy, I would say I've heard third rounder at this stage. I think, but maybe pushing second if he can get that midfield going and become that big brute that apparently he is. I think he'll push. He could push late first, maybe even higher. But he's only 16. Like, there's a massive, or 17, but there's a massive, like, I think there's a massive discrepancy with next year because of 2027's draft.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he'll be pushing. I think he's going to come on pretty well again next year, which will be exciting. Be very good.
Yeah.
Hi, Daffy.
We'll ask at the split. Split picks. Do you guys want to split a pick? And if you could, who would you split it with?
I'm a yes. After seeing Tim's list, right, let alone everyone else's list, I think it shows there's enough good talent still that could still be there at pick 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever it might be. And I've always felt the obvious one is Gold Coast. They're going to want maybe an earlier pick to get ahead of one of the bids and then use some other bullshit points for their other ones, which I know is annoying because it helps them. But if we can get a couple of picks, and let me. What have we got? So Gold Coast have got club picks. So 12 and 15 would be what I would be after. I know that might mean some shuffling of other token picks later on from futures. I'm not sure whether they would do 4 for 12 and 15 directly, or if that works out mathematically point wise. But if we can get 12 and 15, and you can pick up a Dersma, Sharp, or Lindsay, and then get whether it's a Grill or whoever else later on, a Farrow. I'm not sure if Cumming will last that long, but I think there's some value there to do it. I know it's not always the right call to split picks that high, but I think this year, with how seemingly even it might be, it could be worth it.
I'm going to have to end the show early. I have a screaming child right now that I have to go deal with.
Right.
Oh, no. The joy of kids.
Yeah. But I'll do another video later on, guys, and we'll get you both on, and we'll do some more talking about the draft.
All good, mate. All good.
But I do appreciate you guys jumping on and giving your opinions on the players you would like to take, who we could take as well in the future. So, thanks guys, for jumping on. Anytime. I appreciate every single minute you guys give me.
No dramas at all, mate. All about Roby. Get around him.
Yeah. Get around him.